Ladies and germs, welcome to the Crofton Warrior Podcast, the only podcast where I have to record this intro twice because I forgot to push the record button. I'm your host, Jack Schieffer. Here at Crofton, we've been getting many upgrades over the years, some big, some small. Devout Crofton Warrior Podcast listeners will remember last episode where Mr. O talked about our one-to-one iPad system, among other things. This little school sure has been growing like a weed, but it's true. Our iPad system was a big change from the same old books and pencils and heavy backpacks. We have gotten more technological over the years. I wrote this intro on a keyboard that we just hand out in the library. We barely even use smart boards anymore. Mr. Gade has 2 projectors, 2 laptops, and 3 monitors, along with a fancy standing desk. And today's episode is about upgrades. Mainly this year's big upgrade, the big old Daktronics board in the gym. Mrs. Baker and I have been figuring that thing out. So there's going to be an interview with Baker and also Trevor and Josh, who both ran the board. We have an interview with Miss Kramer, our activities director, who has been overseeing all this fun stuff over the years, and Miss Pack, our school tech lady, who always has something going on. So that's the episode. I hope you have a good time listening. You have a good time listening to this episode.
Test.
There we go.
Okay. I'm ready.
You want to introduce yourself for the third time?
Yes. I'm Courtney Baker, and I am the journalism teacher and advisor for the yearbook and the video board for the 5th year. Video board for 1st year.
All right, we got 2 other hooligans. Trevor, you want to go first?
Yeah, my name is Trevor Allen. I'm in journalism. This is my 1st year.
My name is Josh Polensky. I'm in journalism too.
Is your 2nd year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, journalism 2,
Yes,
not journalism
told you.
also.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
By the way, this is being recorded in Baker's room, and I'm making eye contact with JC. So, we're here to talk about the video board and everything going on with that. And so we've got Baker, who has gone through all of the classes and videos and figured everything out.
Yeah,
entirely
sure.
figured everything out. And then Trevor and Josh, you guys ran it the other day. Yesterday?
Yep. Yeah.
Yesterday.
Literally last night.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I'm going to start. Sorry that you guys won't be able to answer this.
Oh.
But where did this come from? Where did the concept of the video board come in? And when were you notified of what everything was happening?
Okay. So I think this all started about a year ago. I think someone had brought it to the attention of, I'm pretty sure it came from the boosters. And there are schools in our area who already have video boards. Boone Central has 2, Summerland has 2 in their gym. And people were seeing that and thought, why couldn't Crofton have something like that? And so they started to look into it and discovered that it's actually a really great revenue stream for our activities because you can get sponsorships to help pay for the video board. And then once the video board is paid for in full, then the sponsorships continue. And that money can go directly into our students' programs, activities, things that they need, our facilities. So that was really why they started to look into doing it about a year ago. And we wanted to make sure we could get the sponsors that we needed. We started doing that. Nancy Potts, who was a member of the Crofton Boosters, and myself, we went around and talked to a lot of businesses, and we solidified enough sponsorships to pay for it should be paid for in 5 years.
Ooh, sweet.
In full. And in fact, because of last night, so last night we ran it for the first time. The boys did. I just watched them do it. They did such a good job.
Such a great job.
It was fantastic. We've actually really, I swear to God, I got an email from someone I don't even know. They emailed me and said that it looked great and they loved it. I've been stopped many times today here at school.
I have also been stopped many times today at school.
And people have said that they thought it was great and also enjoyed watching it very much and have sort of it's almost like they're taking the community ownership over it because they're letting me know what they want to see. Ooh. So instead of saying, I wish you wouldn't have done that or have negative things to say, it's been very positive and been more like, I wish we could see more of this, or that was so great, do some more of this. So I think that's really great. And we've had more sponsors already voice interest within 24 hours. Yes. And I had a thought that might happen, because once you get there and you see how it's working and how the sponsors, how much exposure that they get, that you'd get more businesses interested in. And there have been a few already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's great.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
To you guys, how was running it for the first time? Do you guys want to explain how that works and what you all did?
Well, we had Trevor was pointing stuff out to me, like what was happening in the game, and then I would press the button on the computer, and yeah, it would show up on the video board.
Josh was stressing.
Trevor told me the wrong thing a few times.
I don't believe so.
Just one time for sure.
Yeah.
One time for sure. But other than that, I think it was pretty good for our first time doing it. I mean, it's a lot of pressure being the first ones to do it. And they did stay, like Trevor was kind of like the spotter the whole time, the whole night. And it went 4 sets, the game. So it was like longer than maybe you would have thought it was going to be. And then Josh was the one running the laptop. And that was to be the first one to do it. Like, that's stressful because, it's like the unknown. It's stressful.
Were you stressed, Josh?
At the start, but as the game went on, it got easier.
We should kind of be like hidden away from the student section, I think.
Oh, really? Why do you
Yep.
say that, Trevor?
Because the student section keeps like yelling at us and stuff for not doing the right thing.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Kind of, yeah. But they also like really wanted to show off their reading skills, and they would like read everything that was on the board.
That's what Layton was doing in the band.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what one of the students told me today, that they actually, and I don't know if this is good or not, but they were like watching the board more than they were watching the game.
That's probably first
Yeah,
game.
I think that'll wear off over time.
Yeah, we'll get bored of it.
Yeah. Board of the board.
Bored.
Puns.
So, what kind of stuff for you guys? Just so people know who are listening. People who are listening know. What things are we putting on the board? And what things for you, Bake, after they talk? What things do we have planned to put on the board in the future? So you guys first.
We are adding a side out and like different, more like kills and stuff because they kind of got boring over time.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, we just got a lot of the stats right now and commercials for their sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah. So in-game reaction. So I think what we discovered last night from doing it is that there's a lot of kills that happen in a volleyball game, and we only had 3 graphics for kills, and so that got really boring. So we need more of those. There's quite a few aces too, and so we need more of those. So this was like just good learning, a learning curve that we could discover the things that we need more of, and like Trevor said, side outs. So in-game graphics that we can react to what's going on in the game, but also they're interested in doing like fan cam stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Which we could do. You see that a lot when you go to games in other like bigger arenas and stadiums and things, and you'll see like, the look-alike stuff where you have a picture of like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you find an audience member that looks like Mike
Yeah,
Wazowski.
exactly. Mike Wazowski. Exactly is what I was thinking of. Yeah, and then you put that side by side. And we can do that because we have an Apple TV hooked up to the board. So we could AirPlay from an iPad or a phone or something. And you could do that pretty easily. Or like a dance one where you play a song and like show us your moves. Like little kids would love that. So we could do something like that. And trivia. More trivia.
People love the trivia.
They love the trivia.
Love the trivia. So building off of what you said about the Apple TV, what other things could we use the board for other than in-game things?
Well, I mean, you could go in there. You could teach anything from the video board. You could throw anything up on the screen and teach it. But I also think like volleyball or basketball season, you could put your film up there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you could like break down film in the gym, or you could like a coach could literally like show big up on the screen, like this is what you guys need to do, or this is what you did, and this is how we need to fix it. Yeah, they could. Because I know like Huddle has the ability to, what's it called, where you can write on the screen? What is that called? They do it on football broadcasts.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
You know what I'm saying, though,
Yeah,
right?
I know what you're saying.
They
Like
can,
yellow
like-
pen.
They can write, tell us something. They can write on it and like show things. And you could do that like on that big board. Like that'd be pretty effective, I think. 'Cause you
We
could
do not need that.
Sure you do.
No, we don't.
Oh, Trevor. Gage would love that, don't you think?
Yeah, he would, but not us.
I said that when I hooked up the Apple TV, I was telling people that the junior high kids are screwed because Slate's going to put up T25 so much easier, and they're just going to have to do that. That doesn't affect me, so I'm fine.
Yeah, not me either. I've tried T25. That stuff's brutal. It's awful. It's terrible.
Are you too excited for the video board?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's that little Merlin LaCroix guy that always dances in the front,
Oh, yeah?
in the bench? Yeah.
We could put him up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's always dancing. I don't know
He's
where he
always
was
having a
last
good time.
night.
Was he not there?
Nope.
Yeah, we could totally put a fan cam on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
Let's
are
only put
actually,
him.
like, we're obviously looking for ideas because there's 17 people in journalism, and even just after like last night and talking to Trevor and Josh had a lot of good ideas just running the board. They were thinking of things that we needed to add and things that we should change, and then we had people in the crowd coming up to us asking us what they wanted or telling us what they wanted. And so I was able to I literally just wrote a list today of 20 plus new things to create. And everybody in our class has an assignment now, and we'll create more than one thing, more than likely, before next week, because our next game is a week from yesterday. It's 6 days from right now. So we have plenty of people in journalism. We have 17 people in journalism right now. So we have a lot of manpower, so we can address these needs pretty easily, I think. And the kids are getting better at making things. It's kind of rough at first, but I think we'll get better as we go along.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Are we able to put You Can't Do That?
I think we should make one and try it and see what happens. I mean, that's a really common crowd cheer.
Yeah.
And the thing about a video board is there's honestly probably not a lot of rules for high school sports concerning video boards because
Probably.
they don't really exist everywhere yet. So I think
This is what's going to get them.
you could maybe get away with some stuff.
Right now we
Because
can.
We can get, because there's no rules. Or not as many, there's rules about
guess.
drones now.
Oh,
you
really?
can't- No, yeah, you can't have a drone over a football game.
Can you
when
have them
kids
over a
are playing.
volleyball game?
No. That was too dangerous.
That's unfortunate.
But that was a rule that the NSAA had to come up with.
Yeah.
Because drones haven't always been around.
Will work before the law shows up.
Exactly.
Question
Yes.
that I have been asked several times, and I've had to tell people no to. Can we do instant replay?
Okay. So, no, we can't.
We
Why?
can't.
Okay.
I thought you said yes
I have had
last
to
Yeah.
explain this to 3 different people, and I have gotten very frustrated while explaining.
Why can't we do this?
Well, okay. Well, we could if we had
All 17 people at the game working.
No kidding, seriously, because we already had 4 people there last night, 2 on the video board and 2 doing videos and pictures. So those people would either have to be repurposed, or you'd have to have at least 2 more people, because you'd have to have probably 3, because you'd probably want 2 more cameras, because you don't know. Instant replay. Think about instant replay when you watch TV.
Is it from the same angle every
Exactly. Well, you can't see it always from the same place. So you're going to have multiple cameras,
Mm-hmm.
right? At least in a volleyball game, you'd have to have 2, one at each end of the floor at the very least. You could try to have one up from above, but what are you going to see the line from way up where we are?
Hey, man,
No.
Maybe start offering extra credit for it.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Well, okay, but we need the cameras, which are thousands of dollars a
time?
piece.
First off, we need 4
Sponsors.
camera sponsors.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Yeah, we need very specific cameras that have to be wired. Big long cables wired into a thing called a TriCaster, which looks like a DJ mixing board.
That sounds fun.
Perfect. Just what we need.
Cool, yeah. And so that would have to be up somewhere, and then you have to have monitors so that you
So,
can watch the feeds of
we
the
could
cameras.
We could just expand our gym.
Yep. Make a private room for
Let's
us.
make a private room
Yeah.
just for instant replay.
Mhm.
I like that. And that little corner back there.
Yeah.
That's about what you'd have to do. Seriously.
And then have several other people, several thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment,
Tens of thousands.
tens of thousands
Yes.
of dollars worth of camera equipment.
Yeah,
And then
probably.
100 points of extra credit.
Yeah.
At l- I mean, at
And
And
in
that
the
will
mouth.
take
game.
care of it.
Just throwing it out.
Yep.
I mean, we
like a
definitely
plan.
have enough people.
Full-time job, work study.
Yeah. The problem is that half of our class right now plays volleyball. So then it'd be basically the other half that doesn't. They would have to do it every time.
Yeah. And I don't want to do that. I do it. I mean, if we have enough money to pay for a full control room, I think we should have money to pay us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
so.
Too bad we don't.
These are big dreams. These are big dreams.
Hey, that's how these things come to.
Well,
That's
hey,
how the video board showed up.
Exactly. Because I'm sure at some point someone said we should get a video board, and someone was like, "Oh,
These are
Crofton will never
big
do
dreams.
that. That's a big dream. That's never going to happen." And it did. So, and honestly, I think what would be cool is that in time, if this generates enough money, you could put a second board in the gym, or you could put a board on the football field, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah.
Because those, you can do so much at a football game, and those are like they're even bigger.
Big.
They're huge. It's really cool.
Ooh.
So that would be neat. And then the possibility of doing more of like a broadcast thing from the football game is more of a possibility because there's a press box already that you could
there
like
is.
take
That would be nice.
take a nook out of, you know. You could do that.
I could announce.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be my dad.
Well,
announce.
people have asked, so you asked about instant replay, but another question is huddle live streams that you watch from other schools, like O'Neill, for example. They have like play-by-play and color.
They got little kids running
They have
that.
junior high students.
Oh,
doing it.
really?
Yes. And they basically are doing what you would hear two broadcasters doing at a game on TV. They're trying to. It's real cute.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
We should do that. That'd be fun.
But we could, and that's
Live
more
sports
that's
broadcast?
more of a possibility. I could see that happening sooner than instant replay.
We could make more money with that.
It's always
we?
about the dollars.
Yep.
It's always about the
Heck
dollars.
yeah.
Always.
Well,
But if you could say to a sponsor that we will, every however many minutes we have a verbal ad read,
yeah,
and so your name's getting out there.
we should start doing
again.
that for this podcast.
You should get some of your own sponsors.
I mean, that's not on me.
Why not? It could be.
I guess I should.
Yeah.
I'll get paid for this. Sure.
You just don't tell me about it.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just joking. But yeah, you could.
Yeah.
We could put sponsors on this.
We could work on that.
Mm-hmm.
I could start doing ad reads. I need a transition anyway from this interview to Kramer's.
Yeah. How are you gonna? Oh, what are you gonna talk to her about?
Probably this.
The same video board? Yeah, because this affected her life too.
It did.
Because we got the video board, we had to get a whole new scoring system.
Yeah.
So now they don't use the big. They used to have that big
That big old machine.
Yep.
that box with all those buttons.
Now they're just on an iPad.
Yes, and
Which
it's
is probably
completely
very
different.
difficult for.
Just
I
different.
don't know who's running it.
I don't know.
I think it was Miss Kleinsman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
was she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something to get used to.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be easier, but it's
There's-
just very different.
There was no stats on there.
I
Yeah,
know.
the stats
Yeah.
didn't work last time.
I know. That's something that I would ask. You should ask Miss Kramer about that. I want to ask
I
her
have
too.
asked Kramer about
What
that.
did she say?
I guess we'll figure out next interview.
Okay, you're going to ask her again?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I forgot to ask her myself. But we were going to try, because one thing, also another problem with the video board was that the bottom bars, like the scoreboard,
Mhm.
but it didn't say Crofton
Yeah,
and O'Neill.
yeah, I
and
noticed
so
that
people
too.
were like, well, who's who?
Yeah.
And I think that if she puts in logos for the teams, like with the Warrior and like the Eagle, for example, like if she puts those in the iPad, I think those will appear.
Oh.
Because everything, this is getting in the weeds a little bit, but everything that appears on the bottom bar comes from
Yeah,
her.
that's them, not
Comes
us.
from the iPad. We don't generate anything for that.
Mhm.
So we have very little control over that.
We need to change it up a little bit. It's kind of like dry at
I
the
know,
bottom.
you
It's
guys
just
Yeah,
said
that's
that.
what I'm gonna start
Yeah.
working on. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
making it look more like
Yeah.
it belongs
I
there.
need to figure out how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I think there's got to be a way to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot to do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's the possibilities and and I have to say, while we're on here with you, I have to thank you so much for all the work that you have done.
Stop.
I'm serious. I'm totally serious, because if you hadn't been able to just be told to just like go and figure it out, we would not have been ready last night. Because I would have had to do it all, and I don't know when I would have done it.
All the time.
After school.
Seriously.
After
I
school,
know,
all the time.
yeah.
Your own time.
Yeah, exactly. I just wouldn't have been living a life at all. So
Yeah, it'd be fine.
I appreciate you, Jack. Seriously. It's amazing. Really nice.
I do what I can.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know how to take that. Anywho, any closing remarks from you two?
Nope.
Are you excited to do it again or not?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, good. But are you ready to like turn over the reins to the laptop, or you would like eagerly do that again?
I'd probably do it again.
You would do it again.
Yeah.
Would you be as stressed next
No.
time?
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't.
He was taking his sweatshirt off like 3 times, put it back on.
Yeah. At first, it's just the unknown. It's just nerve wracking because you don't know
Mhm.
what to expect. But it wasn't that bad.
Wonderful.
It was fun.
Anywho, that's all I've got, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for podcasting.
You betcha.
Yep.
Thank you
Thanks.
much. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. What a fun interview. My biggest fear just came true. The first 2 minutes of Miss Kramer's interview, gone. It's corrupted. It's completely gone. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just going to fill you in. You missed all of the introductions. This is Miss Kramer. She's our activities director. She's an incredibly busy lady. I've been trying to get her on the podcast for the longest time, and you'll see why. It's a really good interview, and I'm really frustrated that the first bit didn't record, but that's about all you need to know. She is living proof that if you bother someone enough, they will be on your podcast. So, enjoy the rest of this interview. So, we're talking about all of the different upgrades that the school has had, because we've had the video board this year. We've had our gym was remodeled. The floor was redone.
Yes.
We've had just so many other different things happening year by year. So, with the video board specifically, starting off, can you explain the process that we've had, or at least the process that you've been a part of getting the video board idea to actually having it installed on the wall to running it?
Sure. It was an idea that we kind of, Mr. Look and Mr. O and Mr. Rogge and myself, we kind of had this idea that something that maybe someday, it's kind of one of those pipe dreams, someday we would like to have this. And so we kind of went to the Booster Club. So I'm kind of a liaison between the school and the Booster Club. And so kind of brought that to them and, what their thoughts were. And they got on board, so they did a lot of the fundraising. I think Mrs. Baker also helped with some of the fundraising with that video board. So it's all through donations. So we got the new video board all through donations. Hasn't cost the school anything. So, which was awesome, which was great. So from there, it just kind of developed and grew. And of course it gives you guys another avenue to pursue, which is great because, it gives you another side of the experience that kids would have or that fans would have coming into a venue and coming into a game or whatever. So we're excited. I mean, yeah, it's for you as well. It's been a lot of work, I'm sure, on your side, but I think you might like it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Exactly.
What are some of the bigger upgrades that you would say you have seen over your tenure of working here?
Yes, 10-year would be correct. Yeah, video board's probably a really big one. We've done small things here and there just to kind of do some improvements or things that we thought were maybe lacking or falling behind a little bit. So, we've done some improvements down at the football field. We installed a new sound system down there. I think it was a couple years ago we did that. The old one was just getting to a point where it wasn't wanting to work all the time, and so we had to do that. We upgraded the sound system in the gym a while back when I think Mr. Dahl was still here. We did that. Of course, you see the floor that we had to refinish last year. The life of a floor is only for so long, and we had overextended that time, so it needed to be done. So we did that, which looks great. We put in new gym wall padding. Not only here at the high school, we also did at the elementary. So there's new stage padding and everything.
Yeah, that old worn-out stage.
The old worn-out stage was, that I think hit the trash, actually. So
I don't think there was any use for that.
I don't think so either. After I started looking at it, I'm like, this is really bad.
Yeah.
So we got that. I think, the elementary actually appreciated that a lot because they said, a lot of times when we look at upgrades, We don't
Yeah.
do things at the elementary, but they said it looks really nice. It looks great.
It
You know,
does.
it's nothing, you know, it doesn't say Crofton or Warriors on it, but we don't use it in that capacity a lot. You know, for game. I mean, we do use it for games, but, you know, to put all that in there, not that it
Yeah.
was been more expensive, but it would have, you know, just it does dress it up a little bit, makes it a little bit nicer. So we did that, and we did take, when we did the video board out here, we did take clock that we replaced the video board with down to the elementary. So that is down there.
Oh.
And then we purchased another one, just a kind of a half clock.
Yeah, that half one's on that
Yep,
other wall.
on the other wall, yes. So we, you know, so sometimes we just do those things just to kind of, they might not make a huge impact, but they do in a way, you know,
They
for a
step
lot of
us up
families.
a little bit.
They step us up just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, along the way.
Very nice stuff like that. Last episode, Mr. O talked a lot about like our one-to-one iPad system
Yes,
and how that was one of our bigger upgrades, I would say.
yes.
So how would you say that has changed our school? Do you think it's completely overhauled everything at this point?
You know, that's a good question. You know, it's one of those things that technology influences us all, you know, and in today's day and age, you know, we needed to do something, I think, to keep up with what was going on. And whether that was with, because the discussion did center around, do we do laptops for the kids, or do we do iPads? And so that was always weighed back and forth. And obviously we chose the iPads. I think it's been beneficial to the kids. I mean, I think it's yes or no, maybe. I don't know.
I'd say.
Yeah, it's been beneficial. It does, I think, cost-wise, it might eliminate some of the, you know, like the paper stuff, because you don't have a lot of the,
Yeah,
you
right.
know, the paper pencil stuff. I mean, I still do some of that just to kind of give you guys a break from just being on technology all the time, 90 minutes. Not that we're on 90 minutes, but, you know, just to vary and just to give some different perspective. But, yeah, that was a change. I mean, for me alone, it was a change because, you know, after so long, you just kind of get used to
yeah.
doing what you're doing. And then it's like, oh, goodness, I got to learn what. So,
What's Canvas?
what is Canvas? What is this
stuff?
Canvas they speak of? Yes.
Yeah. How did that decision happen between? Because like a lot of other schools, they have laptops. How do we? What was the? Well, where did the decision come from to get us iPads instead of laptops?
You know, I think that was when Mr. Dahl was here at the time when we made that transition. And I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think they kind of checked into both. And some of the schools that's just what they preferred was the laptop. Now I have nieces and nephews that would probably tell me the exact opposite.
Yeah.
They would rather have the laptop because then at least you can have a keyboard built in,
Oh.
a decent keyboard built in.
We've got these from the library. We're good.
Yes. But you know, so you know what do you do on the laptop? You know, a lot of times it's research and it's that kind of stuff, which I think you can do efficiently on the iPad.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of steered the direction as to where that went to.
Yeah. How do you think the technology itself affects the students, not only like in a learning capacity, but like as a whole, as people? Because that's a big changing thing.
It is a huge changing thing, and I think it's good for them to learn how to use it correctly, should I say, you
Yeah.
know, and how, you know, the appropriate times to use it and when to use it and when not to use it. Because, you know, there's some kids that sit in class and it's like, yep, I'm pretty sure you're not paying
Yeah.
attention because I can tell. But they would never admit it, you know. But I think overall it's been a positive for the kids, for you guys to utilize.
Yeah, I'd say it's very nice. I mean, we've got notability. We can write stuff.
You can write stuff. You can listen to stuff. You can. Yeah.
We've got it all.
Got it all.
I think I'm in the minority. I'm not playing games. I'm just like reading wiki pages all the time. I'm just
Oh,
like
I'm well aware.
you're paying attention. I'm just on the wiki page for like Nile Rodgers reading about some guitar.
Now I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm on. You can tell.
Yep.
We use a lot of, in personal finance, we use a lot of different review games.
We do.
How did you come to that avenue?
You know, I obviously it's not something that I grew up with, obviously.
Yeah, you just had the old whiteboard and
I just had the old whiteboard, and actually, yeah. So it was it's something new, and I think it's something that obviously, if you are in our class when we do our review
I
games,
am
they
in
can
the
kind of
class.
get kind of intense. Yeah, I mean, I've done different things, and then obviously you find these things that kids kind of gravitate towards and they like. So it's like, okay, if I can get them and grab their attention with this, the hope is that it translates into them learning what the material that we're doing. So
Yeah.
that I think helps a little bit.
we're learning.
We're learning.
Whether or not we're having a fun time,
Well, yeah, exactly.
still works.
It still works, exactly.
Yeah. Completely different. Just turning what's the analogy I'm looking for?
We're going a complete 180
Going
here.
down a different street.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of a different street.
Alrighty.
Taking a 90-degree turn.
Okay.
We'll go there.
All right.
What are things that you've learned as being activities director that you translate to being a teacher, and then conversely, what are things that you learned as being a teacher that you can use as activities director?
Both require a lot of organization. I mean, for me personally, it just requires a lot of organization, just because when I'm doing my AD stuff, I have to make sure I've got everybody lined up, all my workers. I've got my officials here, my bench workers. I got to make sure the teams know what time, the time the game starts. I mean, I have to have that all in order, which does lend itself, obviously, nicely to being an educator, just because I kind of got to be a little bit organized, especially when I've got a busy week. It's just, I got to make sure everything is done. So those two things, I mean, being organized, the two just kind of merge, and here we go. Yes.
They're all one thing.
They're all just one
Two
thing.
sides of the same coin.
Yep, exactly.
How do you, maybe unrelated, not
Okay.
really. How do you find time? How do you have time?
For what?
You have enough time to stand in the hallway and say Jack Schieffer. There's a lot
I
of
do every morning. Jack Schieffer, good morning.
there's a lot of different things, but do you have, how much of personal time are you using on this stuff?
Probably more than people realize. I do. You have a parent that's in the profession as well, education.
I do.
It's, you take a look at, sometimes, the amount of time that she spends maybe at home doing her stuff on her personal time. I said I probably spend it just as much. Some nights, I will admit, there's just I'm tired. I'm done. It's just I can't do it anymore.
It's good to have those nights.
I'm mentally just done for the day. And so I just kind of sit there and find something mindless to do, whatever that might be.
Yeah, that's important. That's important too.
So
Rest days.
yes, rest days. So yeah, there's quite a bit of time that I do spend, my personal time, Obviously, with the advent of the cell phone, doesn't help matters much.
Yeah.
So, everybody can get a hold of me. I mean, most people can get a hold of me if they want to. So it's really, yeah.
Just spending a lot of time on the phone. You big on TikTok, Kramer?
That would be a no. That would be a no. I hear it enough from you guys. I don't need to know the
Yeah, you don't need
the
that.
latest and greatest.
What are the what are the things that, just some general things that you've learned in, I don't know how many years you've been here.
I've been here for 29 years,
29.
Jack. Yes, 29.
29.
Jack, yes.
Big 29.
Big 29.
So what have you learned?
I've learned a lot. I mean, just the education itself, you're taking the field of education alone, I mean, that has changed a lot in 29 years. When I was first here, we had the old Apple computers, for a computer lab, that's what we had. And so now we have the Apple iPads now. So it's that, family environments have changed, the makeup of a family has changed, which in turn influences the kids, so that has brought about different aspects, and there's so much that has changed. It's to stop and think about it is kind of scary sometimes. It's a lot that has changed. Yeah.
Yeah. What keeps you here? What keeps you here at Crofton?
I have asked myself that a lot. No, just kidding.
Whoa.
Whoa. Flashback, yes. No, it's my dad actually is originally from Crofton. If you didn't know that. There. And so I was familiar with the area. I actually student taught in Crofton. Shocker. If you didn't know that either. And so the Shirley Swatsky is who I student taught under. That spring, she decided that she was going to going to retire. And so I did apply here. I applied to other places as well. But I chose here. I already knew the school system, knew the kid, knew the school system, the community, and that kind of thing. And it's probably what keeps me here is the kids, is the families.
Stop.
Yeah, stop it. Yes, yes. So I mean, any place you go, there's always going to be those negatives, and so it's kind of like, okay, if I'm making this change, am I doing it? Is it going to be better? How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know?
How do you know?
So, yeah, here I am, Jack. 29 years
29.
later, here I am.
Still here.
I'm still here.
It's
be
not
worse.
that bad of a place.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
We have fun.
Yes, we do.
Well, I think that's all I have for you.
All right.
Was it a positive podcasting experience?
It was a positive podcasting experience.
There we
Jack.
go.
There we go. Yep.
Now
you got
you're
it
going to
out.
want to do it more.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
You'll be in here.
I don't know about that, but yes.
Alrighty.
All right.
That's all we got.
Perfect. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast. First off, Quinlan.
Hi.
Quinlan's here for this part. And then also, welcome to the podcast. The reason why we have all of this podcast equipment and the reason why we have time to do all of this podcast stuff and the reason why we have any technology in the school whatsoever, I'll give you all that credit, Miss Pack. Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here. In fact, you've been trying to get me.
Yeah, another
on.
example of if I badger someone enough.
I know.
It will
I'm such a
eventually work.
chicken. I chickened out last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
I ran away.
No, I didn't run away. It's just
And
been
we
like
have to
next
thank
week.
our school board and our administration and our teachers and Great Plains Communication for giving us a grant that got us this great podcast.
Really?
equipment.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the lighting for the journalism
Wow.
makerspace area.
I didn't know that.
So,
I didn't know
yeah.
that either.
Wow.
Thank you, Great Plains.
Yeah.
So humble, pushing that off on other.
We do a commercial, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do ads. I said earlier in this episode,
We
in
need
a
to.
separate interview with Baker, I said we can get sponsorships on this. We
That
should
would
do
be
that.
sick.
I will read ads.
We
I will do it.
should.
I'd read
Actually,
an ad.
We should do it.
For the video board, don't we have ads up there? I mean, for
We
the
have
people
so many
that-
ads for the video board.
But to plug those guys, I mean, they
could.
really support our school.
A lot of people really support.
They
our school.
really do.
It's really nice.
That's what makes it all work.
Yeah, it's really nice. Really good time.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, so
Yeah.
to get to the topic of this episode,
Ooh.
so talking about upgrades to the school.
Oh.
You bring up the video board.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the main ones that we've had
that's a
recently.
real big one.
That's one of the bigger ones that we've had over the years. Miss Pack, how many years have you been here?
This is my seventh.
Seventh.
Whew.
Woo.
I know. And I think 39th in education.
Really?
Yes.
Congratulations.
I could not do that many.
Quinlan has not been alive that long.
No, definitely
A lot,
not.
a lot of people have it.
So, yeah, upgrades to the school.
Yes,
So,
upgrades. Video
speaking
board
of
is
which-
awesome. Upgrades.
Yeah, upgrades.
Upgrades.
You know, I really think our school, as we do these things, it's more of an evolution. So we bring something in and learn it well and get teachers used to it, you know. But I think some of the upgrades, I really like our makerspace things that are starting to go. I wish I had more time to devote to that, but really with Great Plains, they give us quite a chunk of money to, you know, we got a pottery wheel, we got a camera, we
Yeah.
got so many things to start letting kids be creative
Yeah.
and makers.
Speaking of that, would you like to explain what the makerspace is for all of those who don't know?
Absolutely. Well, makerspaces are places where kids can be creative and problem solvers and kind of explore things that they're passionate about. You know, and that's really hard when we jam so much into a school day, that to get to that, because creativity for kids is the top of the learning pyramid. So
Yeah.
the more that we
Yeah.
can do that, you know, and not just do a cookie cutter, you know, I think it's great. What I love about our maker spaces that we're just kind of, you know, getting off the floor and the ground is a lot of teachers are are jumping in and being a part of that, especially our CT teachers. Like we have, Mrs. Baker.
Yeah.
She is all over, yes, whatever equipment we need, microphones, all of that, and letting you guys do this during homeroom, during encore, during journalism, to embed it in the classes. So we have Mrs. Bloomstead, we've got that pottery wheel going, but she also has a number of art apps that she's like Procreate and things like that she's working with and exploring for kids, which is so crucial as they're leaving us and going out to the world full of technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be creative and not somebody who just puts something out there that somebody else has already done. I think the more that we can do that for kids.
I also
better.
feel like it's 1,000 times easier to learn when you're having fun with it too. You can be creative, having fun.
Oh yeah.
That just makes it it makes it easier in so many different ways.
Yeah. No, and some of the other teachers that are doing it, Mr. Evans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's talking to
Man.
me about some of the stuff that they do.
Yeah, he's on fire. He would be a great one to interview because he's gotten some grants too to help with that. We got a laser printer, we got a plasma printer, he has a Cricut. He has so many things going on out there. It's just crazy. And if we can get kids to have projects, hey, I have an idea for something, to have that spur on and then give the extra time during homeroom. Kids not in encore can go to those places and explore it more. We have Mrs. Taney. Man, she's always on fire.
Yeah.
Did you see? Okay, the one thing we
I
got
did
with the
not
last
see.
of our Great Plains money is an edible inkjet printer.
Really?
So she can print
Have
on...
you not heard about what edible? Have you ever seen like pictures on top of cakes? Oh, that's sick.
I know. So she's going... Yeah, she's already made a cake for the board and gave it to the teachers too, but cupcakes, cookies, so to actually, if people kind of do a little catering thing so they can charge and then get money back, but to have kids design it, to design in Canva and then
That's
to
so
print it.
cool.
Yeah, it is. And our teachers here just have those ideas. And so I get to just kind of, yes, here's the seed. Yes, we can find the money. We'll get the grant and
Yeah.
we'll make it happen because it is the individual teacher that does make that happen. Those when you say new things in school, I think of individuals, just like you guys in this podcasting. Do you remember the first day you saw the podcasting equipment?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I was walking down
do
the hall,
remember that.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
beelined it right for you. And I said, "Here's the seed."
Yeah. Yep. Word
Yep.
for word.
Yep.
Right there. Verbatim.
Yep.
Yep. I remember. Clear as day.
Clear as day. Remember it.
Yeah.
So from your perspective of all of the like technological advancements that we've had, because I talked to Kramer right before this, and she has a completely different outlook on how everything worked. Like she's seeing it from like the point of view of like getting all of this stuff and having it and trying to, implement it into stuff. How do you see it with all of the things that you do with it, like actually getting it to work in there and troubleshooting and all the
Technology,
everything that you do?
everything. Yeah, which I love my job because it's never the same 2 days in a row. But for me, when it comes to technology and why I got into it, is my roots are in special ed. And my first goal with technology is to make things accessible to all kids. So using technology to break those barriers. We made sure all our textbooks are digital coming into it, that kids knew how. That's why the iPad has so many assistive technology features to it. We'll read out loud, we'll define it so that we start making learning differences just that, a difference, and that there are tools to break it down. But then there are tools to help them be more productive also. So, let the accessibility be there, but how can I help them be more productive? One of the more exciting things, if you're talking technology, that especially in the area of special ed, if we can use it, if we can train them responsibly and how to use it well, it's the use of AI as a personal assistant.
That's a big one.
I use it myself in writing. I struggle. I have a learning difference. And it has made me a better writer if you use it right. And so we'll be exploring. We need to in school use that responsibly. And make sure that kids, use it to make them better, not to not have to work hard. But yeah.
Where do you think AI is going? Just in your opinion.
It scares me a little.
Yeah.
But as I've been playing for the last year or so, in fact, one of the sessions I was going to do last year for teachers was on AI, just to help them. But the pure time saver for teachers, we're correcting papers, we're making plans, but with AI, I can go, hey, make a lesson plan with activities and questions, and then we make it our own. We bring our own content to it, but it gives the outline. I think that is huge. When I write emails now, I always run it through AI and say, is there anything unclear on this? But I put the stuff in it, and it gives it back, and then I still make it my own. I think that's what we need to be cautious for.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I don't know.
It's really interesting.
It is. I know my daughter's in graphic design at Omaha Steaks, and maybe they can sponsor us. No.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hey, we should. Yeah, I'll talk to her. Who knows? But they are worried about that taking their jobs away, because AI and make an image that looks like this and has that, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is a transformative technology. Some will say not, but a ton has come at us, and I think some will fall away, and we'll come out with some good gems if we do it right. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's very
is.
interesting.
It is. If used right.
If used right.
Yeah, it is also. I think it's a little scary too.
It is.
There's
Definitely.
some scary things I've seen on TikTok.
Yeah, depending on
That's
how.
just like-
well, if it gets super advanced.
Yeah.
And it's real spooky.
So what have you seen on TikTok?
Oh, I've seen like videos of like political figures saying things, and like you
Yeah.
can't discern it.
Yeah.
Like you can't. I thought it was the actual thing until I looked into it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that person didn't say that.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it gets to the level of like you can't discern
Yes,
it.
yeah, I've seen stuff like that. I'm like, and there's just like comments that people are like fully believing it. I'm like, oh my god, like that's scary.
We need to make you guys into AI busters,
Yeah.
like Ghostbusters. But
Yeah.
because really fake news out there,
Already it's so much.
and that it was a problem before, But when it looks so real,
Yeah, now it's just getting like exponentially worse.
Yeah.
yeah, and so to help students learn how to look at those things critically and not just be gullible
Yeah.
about some of those and use
Media
it.
literacy.
Yeah, it's important. Yes, exactly.
Maybe some time down the line that'll be like a required class.
Well, I think it needs to be incorporated into everything.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing research for a class, media literacy,
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
how to double check what's going on, but also within, I know Mrs. O'Brien's going to be doing some things at the elementary that will focus on that, and she does that in her 7th and 8th grade technology class with media literacy, bringing those
cool.
in. But I think any of those types of digital citizenship things are going to be key for our students, because social media,
That's a
that
frontier.
scares me more than AI does for students.
Yeah.
Just emotionally, and being able to handle that. But that's a whole nother topic.
Whole other topic.
Whole nother topic.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about.
I know.
We're here to talk about whole nother topics.
Whole other topics.
Okay. To get us back on track,
Okay.
which getting off track is great. That's what a podcast is.
Exactly.
Squirrel.
Exactly. Yeah. But to get back in there, so other upgrades to the school. Other things that you are doing. One of the things is
Okay.
the HAL program.
That's what I was just
We're
gonna-
revamping that
Yeah.
thing. Would you like to talk about what we're doing there?
Sure. Mr. at the 912 program, okay, Mr. Gates, meeting weekly with them. But the other options students have, because you guys are just really busy, and doing it during homeroom is kind of hard, is to come up with a project, okay, an independent project. And so like yours is,
Podcasting.
yeah,
Up top.
woo. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's your requirement for the HEL program, but you're doing something you're passionate about and that you love, and you're getting to explore something beyond what we can offer. One of the other things that's coming out that I'm really excited about, but I don't know hardly anything about, is Mr. Ostermeyer got a grant for some virtual reality.
I saw him playing with those.
It's like crazy. They can be on a wind tower, like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
experiencing a job, doing that, and it even feels like it's shaking, but that would just scare me. So I would
Just the wind tower?
Yeah.
But there's things in Mrs. Taney's area, sewing. There's in industrial tech with Mr. Evans. I'm sure there's art things, but it'll be fun to explore that.
Yeah.
That it's quite the tool, and I just made my login and have to get training. So, so be looking for that, and we'll see what classes use it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's exciting. I didn't know that.
that is really exciting.
That's really
I heard just
exciting.
like the smallest little inklings about it.
Yeah.
Well,
I got
the great
excited.
thing there, being in a small school, one, I love it. I've been in big systems for decades, and I just love the connection that teachers and students have and community feel. But it also limits us in our resources and things we can offer students.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think Mr. O is really going with this is let's get our students some experiences that we can't give them
Yeah.
in our space. So I'm excited that they're always kind of thinking about that,
Yeah.
when they get out.
I have a good question.
Okay.
How do you go about picking up a new sort of medium for doing something? How do you learn about AI or talk about doing something like this? How do you just break into a different area? What's
Okay.
your strategy for that? Or do you have one?
I'm pretty eclectic there, and I hit it in multiple ways. Like, for instance, with AI, when I decided I knew nothing about it, but here I'll do a presentation. Yeah. So, reading a lot of blogs, listen to a lot of podcasts, and then getting right into the tools, just diving in, making mistakes. I think one of the things that I want all students, all of my students, no matter what level, is if we can teach them to be self-directed learners, and if they have a question, they know where to go to ask it and get it answered. And if one of those is AI, great. Did they learn from it? Awesome. Or maybe it's a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Hello, I use YouTube a lot.
Oh, yeah. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that was one of the first self-directed learning tools that I know, especially in special ed. I use a lot. I make a lot of my own videos because I think it's a great tool. But no, you just dive in. Just like, how did you learn how to podcast? I didn't want to learn about that, but I knew who
did it.
did. Right?
Yeah. Figure
Yeah.
out how to use this thing
Yeah.
and talk.
Yeah.
Talk.
That's my expertise, I'd say.
Yeah, your expertise is talking for sure.
I'm the big old talker.
That sounds like it's an insult, but it's not.
it
It's
could
not
be.
It
but it's
could be
not.
for some people,
No.
but it's not.
I love
No.
talking.
You're great at talking.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which brings me to a question I have for you guys.
You're the first guest to do this. See why I wanted her on the podcast so bad?
Yeah, she already knows what she's doing.
See, exactly. That's what
You come pre-prepared with questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, you amaze me. You get up in front of people. I've done presentations too, but I'm always so nervous. Like coming in, hello, nervous. Do you guys get nervous when you're doing this stuff?
This stuff?
Yeah, or in front of people, like your speeches, your one act.
Speech, I'm such a nervous person. But when I'm like, I don't know, when I'm behind, I guess just the audio, and I'm just talking with my bud Jack, and
Yeah.
we're just goofing off. We're just having a good time. I don't know. It's different for me. I'm just having
Yeah.
like a fun time.
Yeah, and I can
That's-
kind of
that's
notice
how I
that
am.
because I've not done a podcast before, and I'm usually super nervous in front of a camera. Really, but
Yeah.
this feels pretty comfortable. You
Yeah.
guys are pretty.
Because it
Good.
just feels like you're just
Yeah, you're
talking.
just talking.
You're
You
just having a
forget the headphones
conversation.
are on.
It's just like recorded.
Yeah. So in your speech, so this is a tip for students. You said you get nervous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very.
Okay. What do you do to center yourself?
See, I haven't really mastered that yet.
Okay.
So I'm still working on it so much. But I don't know. I just have to like try to clear my head. Just have to like, and I have to think like these people really don't care. Like in the whole grand scheme of things,
That's my thing.
like they might be like, "Oh, this kid sucks," and then 5 hours later they won't think of me ever again.
yeah.
Like I just have to really like hammer that in that no one really cares.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's my strategy for doing stuff. Like for this, I think for just about anything for being nervous for stuff, I've gotten pretty good at controlling my nervousness, my nerves, because like doing so many things, like speech was the big one that like freshman year I was writing speech, And I remember my first time I was performing my duet with Roy, the crayon map. That was freshman year. And I remember the first meet, I was so nervous, and I was like, what do I do? And we got up there, and like we started performing, and it was like, okay, heads down, start. And we went up and we did it, and I was just like, and I got done, and I said, oh, it's like practicing, but you just do it in front of people. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. And I still keep getting like nervous for stuff. Like I'll get nervous if it's, entertainment or something, or like if I don't entirely know what I'm doing is kind of my thing. Like if I'm halfway on a script, or I'm like just sort of still not 100% knowing what I'm doing, then I'll get nervous, and then I go to what you said, and I'll be like, nobody really cares. And that's kind of my like thing. I'm almost like
I'm doing it for me.
I'm a little bit shaky thinking about it. Like like my heart's beating a little bit faster when I'm thinking about doing speech and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my normal thought process, like for singing the national anthem, not to be like, here's all the things I've done. I don't want to be
there's examples that work.
No, yeah. Like I did the national anthem as a quartet in Memorial Stadium, and like that sort of stuff. There's a bunch of people in the stands, and I think about it, and I'm like, whoa, no, oh no. And then I get there, and I'm like, okay, nobody cares. If this is bad, somebody's going to go, oh, that was bad, and then be like, oh, the football game was fine.
Yeah.
They'll move on with their whole
Nobody
life.
really cares about the national anthem. But then, like, it's kind of a sweet spot here, because to get from nobody cares about anything I do ever, that's not a good thought process to have.
No, true.
So, like, it's kind of a sweet spot between I don't care, so I'm not nervous, but then also I care about this because, it's speech, and I want to do well in speech, and also, like, I really enjoy doing something like that,
Yeah.
So it's finding the fine line between nobody cares about this and I do.
And don't you think, just personally, that having some nerves is good?
It might be.
Oh, I'm sure it's
That
good.
Every now and then.
it keeps your mind kind of hopping and
for
clicking, as
sure.
long as you don't totally freak yourself out.
Yeah.
That if I'm not nervous, maybe it's not that important to me.
Yeah, that's kind of the
Yeah.
thing. If you're not nervous about it, then
Yeah.
is that the biggest thing to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So both of you use your personality and speech well. Okay. How do you plan to use it in the future for yourself?
Personality?
That talent of being able to speak, to interact, to convey your thoughts well.
I plan on I use being able to speak every day. Like that's one of my main reasons where I'm like, hey, go out for speech, because I'm like, people are like, I hate talking in front of people, and I'm like, that's why you should go out for speech, because it's so important.
It really
to know
does
how
help.
to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Like my first year in speech, like I'd get up there and I was a wreck. It was terrible. But then like I could slowly tell that I was slowly getting more and more comfortable. It's still nowhere near like I'm a master, but I was slowly getting more and more comfortable until where I'm at now. And I'd say I'm like kind of in the middle now.
I
you
think
can
you're pretty
say
good.
that you can speak.
Yeah.
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 And I saw you as a freshman, and I can tell you have drastically improved. Not that you're terrible, but I
Yeah.
can just tell your confidence.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I guess I feel like
And you
I've
put your
gotten-
personality into it now.
Like it feels more normal now. It feels like I'm not going up there and saying a speech because I'm doing this thing that I'm so nervous about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like I'm doing something that I enjoy doing, so it's getting more and more comfortable.
Yeah.
And what a life skill today. In the age of technology,
Speaking.
those people who can communicate with other people,
Communication is
huge
so
skill.
important.
Yeah, because this texting thing,
Yeah.
that's not going to get you far, But being able to communicate ideas, you guys just
It's really good to be able to do. And like for podcasting,
Yes.
it's good to be able to speak. Learning how to not say uhs and ums as much.
and like.
and stuff like that is so it's really difficult to do. Like freshman year, we went to a Toastmasters meeting.
Oh,
just for fun, just for something to do. And the thing that they do is people give a speech and they ding you every time you say a filler word, which is terrible. It's terrifying. It's horrible. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and they just taught about it, and they said, you can use filler words and stuff like that. It doesn't sound very good. It doesn't make you sound very good. And it, conversely to what you would think, it's better to use not saying anything than to say uhs and ums. To like actually think about what you're going to say, and you can notice it. If someone goes 10 seconds back, you can hear me take a pause when I could have just been going, conversely, you know?
And the pause allows your audience to take a break and think about what you just said also.
Yeah.
And but when you're nervous, you say a lot of those things. So, yeah, I like it. Just relax.
Yeah, that's part of it. And then just
And
go
just
for
join
it.
in.
Yeah, you just got to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
cool.
I think the bell's going to ring soon, isn't it?
I think the bell probably will ring.
Yeah,
soon.
and I just need to do this at the same time that Quinlan does it, and so if you have, we're going to say it at the same
Oh, we
time.
can do that.
Because I practice it to sound like him.
I'm honored.
I was so
I'm
confused.
honored.
I thought you were just talking about podcasting as a whole.
No,
And I
we're
didn't
going to
realize what
sign.
you were saying.
We're going to do a sign off.
Do you have any final words other than
Any
that?
final words?
Other
Just-
than the 1/3 words?
No,
Forward.
use technology to explore what you're interested in, and make it work for you. Don't use it to cheat.
Don't use it to cheat.
Yes.
How's that for an end?
That's
Good
a,
advice.
That's a great
Good
end.
advice.
Good advice.
Don't cheat.
Don't use
Don't
it
cheat.
because we know when you turn in something AI, it
Yeah.
sounds very we've
Yeah.
had some come by our desks that
Yeah.
made us laugh. It did. Okay. Are you
Okay,
gonna
I'm gonna
count us
read an
down?
outro.
You're gonna read the outro,
I'm
and
gonna
then
read an
we're
outro.
going to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna.
everybody, thank you for listening to the Croft and Warrior podcast. We really appreciate your continued support and the fun stuff that not only Quinlan and I get to do, but the entire journalism team as a whole. This was a really fun episode. You can catch us on Instagram at Croft and Journalism, TikTok at Warrior Journalism, Croft and Warriors on Facebook and Twitter, at Jack Schiefer on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok if you want just me. If you want just Quinlan, go to his house or something.
Heck yeah.
Quinlan, do you have a quote of the day?
Oh, let me cook for a second.
Ready.
Have a good day.
That's the quote. We'll see you next episode.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
You have a good
Thank
day.
you. Yes.
Thank you, Miss Bay.